All right, welcome to the deep dive. We've got quite a bit of material today, sources that really pull back the curtain on something I think many of us have looked at, buying renewed tech.
Yeah, specifically a MacBook Air from Amazon in this case.
Exactly. Our listeners sent over an actual Amazon product page for a renewed 2020 model. Plus, we've got customer reviews, protection plan info, all the details.
That's right. And we're not just going to glance at the price. The plan is to really dig into these sources, go beyond the basic description.
Find out what's actually important, what are the real benefits, and maybe what are the hidden catches when you click buy on a renewed item like this one.
Mm-hmm. What are you really getting?
Our mission today is basically to help you sift through this specific example, figure out what matters when you're looking at a deal like this. Let's unpack it.
Okay. So the main item here is a 2020 Apple MacBook Air. Looking at the source, it's the 13.3-inch model. It's got a 1.1 gigahertz Intel Core i3, 8 gigs of RAM, and 128 GB SSD storage.
Okay, 128 GB SSD. Now, SSD is good, right? Faster than old hard drives. Makes things feel snappier.
Definitely. Big improvement.
But 128 GB, that feels, well, maybe a little tight these days, depending on what you're doing, of course. Apps, the OS itself, it adds up.
It can, yeah. It's a base model configuration for sure. And the big label here is renewed.
Right. Not brand new from Apple.
No, it's through Amazon's renewed program. They say these items are inspected, tested, and refurbished.
By Amazon qualified supplier.
Exactly, to make sure they're fully functional. But the listing is pretty clear. It says, products are not certified by Apple.
That feels like a key phrase right there.
Yeah.
Not certified by Apple. And the pricing is tiered, isn't it?
It is, based on cosmetic conditions. So you've got excellent for around $354, good for about $335, and then acceptable down near $300.
And these aren't sold by Amazon directly.
The sources show they're from third-party certified resellers. Names like Certified Resellers and Chrome Source pop up.
So you're choosing how many scratches you can live with, basically. And also who did the refurbishing. What does Amazon claim are the benefits of renewed?
Well, the listing pushes a few things. Quality, you can afford, the savings, obviously. Purchases with an impact, that's the environmental angle, less e-waste.
Okay.
They also say products you can trust because of the inspection process, though again, they mention the not Apple certified part.
Right.
And finally, trusted coverage, relying on Amazon's standard return policy and their A to Z guarantee.
So savings, eco-friendly, trust, protection. That's the pitch. But, the real story is often in the fine print and what people actually experience. Let's get into the specs listed.
Okay, beyond the processor and RAM, it mentions the Retina Display, True Tone, 2560 by 1600 resolution. It's got the Backsit Magic Keyboard, Touch ID.
Standard stuff for that model year.
Right. 10th Gen Intel Core i3, Intel Iris Plus graphics. And importantly, it gives an estimate for average battery life.
Ah, yes. What's the number?
11 hours,
Yeah.
estimated.
Estimated. Okay, let's put a pin in that one. We'll definitely come back to battery life when we hit the reviews. What about Amazon's built-in safety net?
The main one they highlight for renewed is the 90-day refund or replacement policy.
90 days. So 3 months.
Yeah. If you're not satisfied, send it back for a refund or a swap. Plus, you still have the standard Amazon return policy and the A to Z guarantee backing that up.
90 days feels okay, reasonable. But then they also offer these extra protection plans, right? Sold separately.
They do. From Asurion, it adds another layer and maybe another cost to think about.
Suggests maybe the 90 days isn't always enough for some people or some issues.
Could be. So you've got options like a 2-year plan for about $57 or a 4-year plan for around $93.
And what do those cover specifically? Like drops and spills?
Exactly. Accidental damage drops, spills, cracked screens, that's covered from day one.
Okay, that's important. Day one.
And then malfunctions are covered after the original manufacturer's warranty would have ended. Typically a year for new stuff.
Which doesn't really apply here since it's renewed. So it's mostly the accidental coverage up front and then malfunction coverage kicking in after a year from your purchase.
Right. They also mention 24/7 support, easy online claims, and they'll repair, replace, or reimburse you, usually with an Amazon gift card.
Got it. But you have to buy it with the laptop or soon after?
Within 30 days, yeah. And it won't cover problems it already had when you bought it.
Naturally. Okay, so fixed term plans. But there was also a monthly one.
Yes, the Complete Protect monthly plan. $16.99 a month. And the interesting thing is, it's meant to cover all your eligible Amazon purchases from the last year, plus future ones, including this laptop.
Oh, wow. So like your phone, your tablet, this laptop, all under one plan.
That's the idea. Covers malfunctions and accidental damage for portables, up to a $5,000 total claim limit per year, renews monthly, cancel anytime. Seems pretty flexible.
That could be appealing if you buy a lot for Amazon.
But
You found a snag with this specific listing, didn't you?
I did, yeah. When trying to actually add this renewed MacBook Air with the monthly Complete Protect plan to the cart, the source showed an error message.
Oh, what did it say?
Something like, sorry, your monthly warranty plan was removed because these plans are currently only available for single item orders.
Huh. So even though it's advertised on the page as an option.
It seems like for whatever reason with this particular item or seller configuration, you might not actually be able to bundle it with that multi-item monthly plan.
Wow. Okay. That's a really crucial detail hiding in the checkout process. Good catch.
Yeah.
So we have the renewed promise, the specs, the 90-day return, the optional plans with potential quirks.
But now for the reality check, what are actual buyers saying? This is where those customer reviews are gold.
Absolutely. The ground truth. So this specific listing, what's the overall score?
It's sitting at 3.8 out of 5 stars. Based on almost 2,000 ratings, 1,987 to be precise.
3.8. That's
Yeah.
Well, it's not amazing, is it? It suggests some variability.
Exactly. And the star distribution really shows that. You've got 56% giving it 5 stars, happy customers.
Okay, more than half.
But then a pretty chunky 21% gave it just 1 star.
Oof. 1 in 5 basically had a terrible experience. That's a huge spread.
It really is. Tells you right away that experiences are all over the map. Some people get a gem, others not so much.
So let's get into the themes. What did the AI analysis of the reviews pull out? First up, laptop quality and value. Do people feel it's worth the price?
Well, on the positive side, yes. Lots of comments like great value for money, budget friendly. Some even said the quality was great, perfect, or like new.
New.
Yeah, quotes like solid choice for students or great price on a great notebook computer. So for many, it seems the value proposition lands well.
That fits the quality you can afford line. But what about the actual cosmetic condition? Especially with those excellent, good, acceptable tiers.
Yes, this seems to be a real sticking point for many. While some reviewers did say it looks almost brand new with 0 flaws.
Lucky them.
Right. But a significant number reported the opposite. Things like scratches and dents, a chip on the bottom right corner. Some flat out said the excellent condition label was misleading.
So the inspection and cleaning process, maybe not consistently catching or grading cosmetic issues accurately.
It seems that way for a chunk of buyers, yeah. A definite mismatch between expectation from the listing and the reality they received.
Okay, so looks can be deceiving. What about how it actually works? Functionality and sturdiness. Any issues beyond cosmetics?
Also very mixed here. Some people said, works perfectly, runs beautifully, good for light productivity. Standard use cases seem okay for some, but others reported serious problems. Hardware issues, like a kernel panic.
Oh, the gray screen of doom. Yeah, that's usually a bad sign. Often hardware related.
Exactly. Not something you want to see. Others said it just completely stopped working soon after they got it, or more generally, that it's just not the fastest MacBook.
So performance might be adequate for basic stuff, but reliability seems questionable for some units, even potentially failing completely.
Right. You get quotes like, runs like a marathon runner, right next to not the fastest MacBook out there. Big contrast.
And the battery. That 11-hour estimate we flagged earlier, how does that hold up in the reviews?
Oh, this is a big one. Huge variation. Some users were happy saying it runs forever, holds its charge well.
Okay, so some units are fine.
But many others complained. Runs out of battery pretty quickly. One review was dramatic. Doesn't last at all, claiming it dropped 20% in just 10 minutes.
20% in 10 minutes. That's, what, less than an hour of total runtime? That battery is shot.
Pretty much. Others reported seeing the battery not charging error message. So yeah, battery health seems like a major gamble with these renewed units. Far cry from 11 hours for many.
Wow. That alone could kill the deal for a lot of people needing portability. Anything else stand out?
Yes, surprisingly, the charger. The power adapter and cable.
Really? The charger? What's wrong with the charger?
Well, a bunch of things according to the reviews. Some said the power block provided did not work at all.
Just dead on arrival.
Apparently. Others mentioned the charging port fails in the laptop itself, though that might be a laptop issue, not the charger. Some reported it didn't come with a charger, period.
Guessing, okay.
Or receiving an aftermarket charger, not an official Apple one, which sometimes caused issues, or even made a weird beeping noise.
Huh. So even the basic accessory needed to, use the laptop might be faulty, missing, or non-standard.
It suggests that the focus might be heavily on the laptop itself during refurbishment and maybe less attention paid to the included accessories, even though they're essential.
Okay, wow. So let's try and tie this all together. We started with the Amazon renewed pitch savings, reliable, eco-friendly. We looked at the specs, the 90-day return, the extra warranties, and then we hit the customer reviews.
And the reviews paint a picture of significant inconsistency, right?
Definitely. For this specific listing anyway. So what's the core tension here for you, the potential buyer?
It really boils down to weighing that upfront saving, which can be substantial, against a very real risk.
The risk of getting a unit with what specifically?
Based on these reviews, noticeable scratches or dents even when sold as excellent, a battery that might be significantly degraded, giving you way less runtime than expected, potential functional glitches, maybe even serious ones like kernel panics, or even problems with the charger right out of the box.
The Amazon Renewed program, with its inspection claims and the 90-day return policy plus the A to Z guarantee, does offer a safety net.
It does, and that's important. You're not totally unprotected if you get a dud.
But the sheer volume of negative experiences, especially that 21% one-star rating for this item, shows that you might need that safety net. The process isn't foolproof. Consistency seems to be the challenge.
Yeah, the inspected, tested, refurbished label doesn't guarantee a perfect unit, especially regarding cosmetics and battery health based on this feedback.
And thinking about those optional Azurian plans again. They cover accidental damage, which could address cosmetic issues from drops after you get it, and malfunctions later on.
They almost seem tailored to the common complaints in the reviews, don't they? Which might make them seem more appealing or even necessary for some buyers looking at this kind of product.
But again, you have to add that cost. Does paying, say, $50 or $90 for a plan eat too much into the original saving that drew you in? And remember, that potential issue with the monthly plan maybe not even being applicable here.
It's all part of the calculation you need to make.
So wrapping up this deep dive, buying renewed, like this MacBook Air, can genuinely save you money and it's better for the environment. Those are clear plus points.
For sure. But as these nearly 2,000 reviews strongly suggest for this particular listing, the quality of that refurbishment, especially things like how it looks cosmetically, how long the battery lasts, and if the charger even works right, can vary wildly.
It just hammers home how important it is to look past the headline price and the main description. You really need to dig into the details.
Check the exact specs, understand the condition grading, maybe look up the third-party seller if you can.
And absolutely, read the customer reviews. Don't just look at the star rating, read the actual comments. Look for patterns.
Like those recurring battery complaints, the charger issues, the cosmetic disappointments we saw here, those are red flags, or at least yellow flags telling you what the risks are.
It helps ground your expectations in reality, not just the marketing copy.
Exactly.
Which leaves us with a final thought, something for you to mull over based on all this. When you see that big discount on renewed electronics, are you just making a smart, thrifty purchase?
Or are you maybe entering into more of a gamble, a situation where those initial savings could get eaten up by the time and hassle of dealing with returns, or needing to rely on customer service, or feeling compelled to buy an extra protection plan?
Does that perceived quick deal potentially turn into a more complicated, involved process than buying new? Something to consider based on what we've unpacked today.